Welcome to the Hope for the Warriors podcast. I'm Kate Dudley, a military spouse and your host, and I have the privilege of doing this episode from Governor's Island in New York City. We are at the 4th annual No Obstacles Race for the Warriors, sponsored by Payne Schwartz Partners. This is an amazing event. It is a 5K run, lots of obstacles, and someone who was doing those obstacles, who also spoke earlier this week, is Army veteran Ray Soto.
Yep.
23 years in the Army, right?
Yes, 23 years, yeah.
And this is the first time you've taken on this course. It's kind of like a mini Spartan. You're familiar with these, but
I
what
am.
was the course like for you?
You know, I think it's the togetherness. One of the things I talked about earlier in the week was kind of the loneliness. We're never meant to be alone, and that's where Hope for the Warriors and Spartan really wants everyone to help each other out, right? So that we don't feel alone. And I can tell you every obstacle is a lot of fun, and people were struggling, but people were there to cheer them on. And I think that's one of the biggest things about these Spartan races and these just obstacles in life is that we're never meant to go at it alone, and we weren't alone today.
And that's what I love about this event. You see people, veterans with civilians,
Yes.
helping each other over these. Just what's it like out there on the course, kind of helping everyone kind of get through this together?
I think it reminds me of, being deployed. When I speak to other veterans, the common theme is we miss it. We miss being out there. And these obstacles, it kind of gives the civilians a little bit of how the military comes together, right? Whenever we're overseas or we're deployed, no one's ever alone. We're always in it together. And it's great for the civilians to see how military, we had some drill sergeants yelling and people responding, and it's very immediate. But I think it's just great, honestly, just to give everyone the opportunity to come together, whether you're military or civilian, to where we're proud Americans and we love doing things together.
The folks that I've talked to today, I think what resonated with them the most from the speech that you gave was about that feeling of missing that your military family,
Yeah.
and then you have your family. And I just thought that spoke a lot about the speech that you gave, that's what people, they took away a lot, but that was like the main thing.
Yeah, I had some people come up to me and talk to me and say that you gave me a little bit of understanding, and it's obviously showing vulnerability, right? A lot of veterans still feel that loneliness, right? You spend days, months, years in combat with some of these people, and then you come home and life goes on, and there's a piece of your heart that's gone. I saw these people every day in combat, and now they're gone, so I feel lonely without them. And I think sharing that story with them, or that mindset, they said, now I understand why my dad, the Vietnam vet, or my brother or my sister, now I understand why they seclude themselves sometimes. Even though we don't understand why we're all here, it's because they're missing their other family. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think people were able to connect with. Now we understand how you can love two families, mm-hmm. your military family and your actual, biological family. So it was really good to hear. I'm glad that people were able to connect with, and that's what I wanted to try to do, is just bring some level of understanding. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So take me back a bit. Who was Ray Soto before Hope for the Warriors?
I was a very troubled soldier. I had been in combat, suffered a lot of PTSD, a lot of survivor's guilt, and running was my therapy, but running was very lonely. And I thought that that's just what you do, is you handle things alone. You handle your stress, your worries, your anger alone. Until I met Hope for the Warriors, and I realized you don't have to go at it alone, right? There's no reason to try to combat these things alone. And that's how I was before, was just trying to look for answers in places where I knew they weren't. Yeah.
At what point, and I love this because I was kind of reflecting on this question, at what point did your mindset change from, I'm not just surviving, I'm rebuilding?
That's a great question. I think as I saw my kids get older, and I realized that they need me. And as I lost friends to suicide, I realized we need each other, because this is going to continue to happen. The numbers are going to continue to climb. Ray, you might be a number if you try to go at this alone. And that's where I think I've got to do something different. We all have to do something different. And I love what Hope for the Warriors and the veteran community has realized, that, hey, we've got to do something different. Whatever we're doing isn't working. And that's where I think, I can't think of a pivotal moment. I think it's just a change in mindset where this isn't working. And in the Army, what do they teach you? If it doesn't work, figure it out, do something different. So why am I doing the same things over and over again? It's not working. So I think it's just going back to the basics of what we're taught, right? Figure out a way, get it done. And I think that's where we kind of lose our way. We give up hope, and Hope for the Warriors gives us hope back. Yeah.
When you first connected with Hope for the Warriors, what were you seeking?
I got tired of being lonely. I think that's one of the biggest challenges after military service. You know, when you're with your family, but you're still lonely. You miss the brotherhood. You miss the feeling, the camaraderie. And when I met with people from Hope for the Warriors, I could see a light. Like I see all the other veterans who I could see that look in their eyes that I miss seeing. And that's what brought me to Hope for the Warriors. Was like, this is a great organization. Hope for the Warriors doesn't just put events together, right? They take our feedback and say, Ray, what do you want to do? Well, I'm a runner. I would like to run with other veterans. Well, let's put a team together. How many people do you want in your team? Can we have a team of 8? Let's see if it's in the budget. Let's do it. What run do you want to do? Where do you want to do it? And I think that's one of the biggest things is Hope for the Warriors tries to meet us where we are. And every veteran is different. The thousands of veterans that Hope supports all have a different story and all have a different need. And I love how Hope for the Warriors caters to individual needs of not just the soldier, but the families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool to see Roxanne out here,
Yes.
your wife out
Yes.
here
Yes.
doing this with you, and you guys have done these types of things together.
Yeah.
What was it like seeing her out here at a Hope event?
As I talk to other veterans, right, we realize how much time we lost from our families, being away, being deployed, being in training, and we don't regret it. We would do it again in a heartbeat. But as you get older, you realize I did miss a lot of my kid's life, my wife's life, anniversaries, birthdays. I'll share with you, my wife's car was stolen when I was training in Virginia years ago, and I couldn't come home. I was in training, right? She had to figure it out on her own. So as I reflect on Spartan races and other endurance races that we do together, it's about being together. And I love that Hope for the Warriors says, Ray, why don't you come with your spouse, right? There's a lot that Hope for the Warriors can do for the individual veteran, which is great. But I also think that Hope says, well, what about your family? Let's bring them too. Let's get them involved, right?
Yeah.
I don't want Ray to come out here and be missing his family. Bring your family with you, right? Within reason, if we can afford it, put it in the budget, bring your wife with you. And so it's just great for her and I to finish together and just make memories to replace the ones that we didn't make when we were deployed or when we were training.
I love that perspective on that, making new memories.
Yeah.
Can you remember, speaking of memories, your first race with Hope?
It wasn't necessarily with Hope, but I had run the Marine Corps Marathon in 2018, and I had met Hope for the Warriors, Ken, who works for them, at a bear hunt. A fellow friend of mine, Purple Heart recipient, invited me on a hunt, and I met Ken. As I got to know Ken, he goes, hey, you're a runner? Hope for the Warriors is going to have a tent at the Marine Corps Marathon. And I said, okay. He's like, yeah, look for them, look for the tent. And I met JD and different people at Hope for the Warriors tent, and I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. So he says, hey, you did a really good time. I forgot what my time was. He was like, you're running Pittsburgh. And he's a retired Marine, so you're running Pittsburgh. Didn't ask, just said,
you were voluntold.
When is it? A couple months, you'll be ready, right? I'll send you the details, but we'll see you there. Okay. I came home to my wife, hey, I just met this guy. He says I'm running Pittsburgh. She's like, oh, okay. All right. So that's how my first run was with Hope for the Warriors in Pittsburgh. And it was voluntold, but obviously I would have done it anyway, but it was just, I missed that. That's what you're going to do. Oh, okay. So that was my first run with Hope for the Warriors, was Pittsburgh Marathon.
How have you seen Hope grow from 2018 until now, especially as it's our 20th anniversary?
I think what Hope continues to do is ask the veteran, what can we do for you? I have a friend of mine who is a double amputee, and he loves golf, right? So I connected him with Hope for the Warriors. Hope for the Warriors is helping him to do golf events that he loves doing. I have another friend of mine who's an endurance cyclist. Like, this guy cycles, I think he did 100 miles the other day. He's linked up with Hope for the Warriors, so he's doing races with the Hope for the Warriors jersey on a bike at 100, 150 miles, 200 miles, crazy cycle rides. Wow. But Hope for the Warriors has evolved to where, what do these veterans need? I have another a female veteran. She's a triathloner, and she wanted swims, Ironmans, different things. Hope for the Warriors helps. How can we help you? So what I have seen is just the adaptation of, there's a lot more to just running or cycling. There's all kinds of other events. There's powerlifting that I know veterans are getting involved in. So I've seen the transformation of, let's listen to what they need, as opposed to us just putting an event together and inviting people. Let's see what they need. Some veterans don't want to travel. they want to stay close to home. Let's find an event near your hometown. I think that is amazing, where, back to my point, we don't want to be away from family anymore. Well, let's find a race in your hometown. Let's find an event in your hometown where it's only a couple hours away, but that you'll be home for dinner that night. And I think that's the transformation I've really seen is, what do they want? What do they need? As opposed to, let's just put events together for them. Yeah.
And speaking of transformation, I like that you mentioned that. I mean, you kind of taken on this role of an ambassador for hope. You kind of mentor a lot of veterans that are kind of at all stages of their journey. They might be just walking a mile versus running these marathons and ultras. How have you seen, is there anyone that you can think of, you don't have to say a name, but just anyone that you can think of that, you know, you've seen evolve over the years because of their connection with hope, physically, mentally?
I think everybody that I have referred to Hope for the Warriors just says, hey, Ray, thanks. It's very simple. Like, this is a great organization. Genuine. I hear the word genuine so much from veterans that I've referred to Hope for the Warriors. Genuine. They care. They listen. And all those things that I think, you know, every organization may strive for, Hope for the Warriors has done and has adapted. Again, when I think of the veterans that I referred, I just love when I see a smile on their face. I've had veterans who, a good friend of mine completed a first 10K. He hasn't done 10K ever in his life. He's retired, and he's like, oh, I've never run that far. I said, you can do it, let's do it together. And he ran his first 10K. And I just saw a smile at him that I haven't seen in a very long time, because he thought he couldn't do it. And now he's continuing. I think he's scheduled for his first half marathon next year. But it's inspiring to see people who thought they had limitations, right? And we're here, no obstacles. And I think that's what happens to a lot of veterans, is we put those obstacles in front of us. We feel that I used to run in the Army, I used to do this, I used to do that, but we fail to realize that you can do it again, right? You just got to have the right people around you and the right support structure. So I think that's one of the biggest things, is that Hope gives people, is really the hope and the support that you can do this. Whatever limitations you have, it really isn't a limitation. You just think it is.
Can you think back to the hardest obstacle that you've overcome?
So I ran a 50 miler. In Texas, and it was wet, it was cold, it was raining, and I think I was soaked within the first 5 miles. But I had told myself I was going to do it, and I'm not going to quit, just not. And I went through 6 pairs of socks, I think, 3 sets of shoes, I don't know how many shirts, and I remember crossing the finish line and just saying I knew I could do it. I doubted myself the first 5 miles. And I even said, who am I trying to prove this to? But it wasn't about proving it to anybody other than proving to myself, saying, when I was in the Army, when you had a goal, you did it. Just because I'm retired now, just because I'm out, doesn't mean that mindset changes. The disciplined mindset needs to stay there. And that's one of the things that I feel like, you know, when we're retired, we kind of get out, you kind of forget everything you were taught, but it helped you survive back then. It helped you do what you needed to do back then. It can still help you now. But that was by far the toughest mentally. Physically, of course it was, but mentally draining is running 50 miles in 10 and a half hours.
That's insane.
In the rain. Yeah. I would change my socks and my shoes because it was loops. Yeah. And within a mile or two of running, I'd step in a puddle and they'd be soaked again. So it was very demoralizing. It's just nonstop rain. It's just one of those misty, ugly, cloudy days. But at the same time, it's like, if I can do it in that's even more of a challenge to say, you see, you can do it. You could have done it in great weather, but yeah, so that was the toughest race I've ever done. And I'm thinking about doing another one.
Of course you are.
Why not?
So this episode is airing shortly before Veterans Day.
Okay.
And I feel like a common question that we get is, how are you supposed to thank a veteran for their service? Because a lot of times they don't really want to be thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Charlie was saying, you know, sometimes it's a little awkward. You're like, okay, like if you hear it. Is there any way that you specifically like to be thanked for your service?
You know, I mean, that's a really, really good question. I obviously want to be respectful when people say thank you for your service, and I feel like it's kind of the thing to say. But I think the way people can thank me and other veterans like me for our service is just be around us. Just spend time with us, right? It doesn't have to be, and I know a lot of people ask, well, how was it in Afghanistan? How was this? And I think a veteran will share when he or she is ready, right? I think one of the things that I mentioned last night is this constant loneliness, right, that we miss, right? So just don't let us be alone. Just be with us. Just talk to us. we're normal people. We woke up and we did a job, and that's how I would do it in a heartbeat again. I think it was something that we felt was our patriotic duty. We wanted to do, and so I always thank people, of course, but I thank people for just hanging out with me, just being with veterans. Thank you for taking time out of your day just to be with us, to come do this obstacle course, to come run in the morning, to sit down and talk with me. So I think time is a commodity we don't have enough of. Everyone values their time. So the fact that somebody spends time with me tells me, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing that I think is really important, is when people actually spend time with you in this fast world pace, right? So I think that's how I like to be thanked, is just spending time with people.
I love that, and it's funny. I mean, I've been with Hope now for almost 3 years, which is crazy. But that's something that I kind of try to make a point of. If I see somebody, especially around Veterans Day, or just in general, I'll say thank you for your service. But then I usually, especially if I'm not rushing out of the coffee shop or something, I'll just ask them, what brings you to serve? I just try to connect with them, and I feel like that's what people seem to appreciate more than just saying thank you for your service or buying them a coffee.
Right.
Actually just asking a simple question.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they do want to talk about stuff.
Right. Yeah, I think time is just, because you said, like you said, veterans do want to talk. Eventually they will, but you can't give them a 5-minute time limit, right? It might take 15 minutes, it might take an hour. But I think it's just, we appreciate the time. We actually appreciate seeing people who didn't serve enjoying life, because then it allows us to this is what I went to war for you to enjoy life. And I want to see people have fun.
Yeah.
I want people to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Right? I just want to see you smile, because it was worth it.
One thing that we're trying to focus on it's for our November Thought Leadership blog. We talked a lot about stress at the holidays, right? A lot of unfortunately, the numbers, they are what they are, especially around the holidays, they go up. And one thing we talked about was you're kind of obligated to spend time and connect with your family.
Yeah.
Friends, geographically.
Right.
But we're trying to make this point of you should also be checking on your people outside of your bubble.
Yeah.
Maybe they live in California or Boston, whatever. Can you just speak on how you approach your buddy checks? What do you do to kind of keep up with people that you might not be physically close to make sure that they don't feel alone?
Yeah.
When they might be feeling alone.
I think what's important is to be honest, and here's what I mean. If somebody's on your mind, I would type that out. Hey, so-and-so, you've been on my mind, just checking on you, bud. How's the family? How's everything going? Right? Tell people you've been on my mind. Hey, I was watching this movie and it reminded me of you. Just thought I'd check in, man. How you been? Right? Because I think one of the things when people check, hey, I'm sorry, I've been so busy. We're all busy, right? I feel like some people make an excuse. Hey, I'm sorry, I couldn't check in with you. I was on vacation. No, life happens.
Yeah.
We get that, right? And when you're deployed, kind of life stops. You've got one mission only. And here in the real world, we get it. Life goes on. So what I do, and what I appreciate when people check in on me, it's random. Hey, man, I was watching this movie. It reminded me of you when you used to do this. How you been, bro? That is genuine. So it's got to be genuine. It's not, hey, doing a buddy check, how are you?
Yeah.
And then you copy and paste to 20 of your friends.
Yeah.
It's not genuine, right? And I get it. I don't expect people to think of Ray all the time. But when I get that random text of hey, man, I was at a store and I saw a Spartan costume, made me think of you, how are you, bud? Now you remember me for a reason. And I've done that to my friends. Hey, man, I went deer hunting and I remember you shot that one deer that one time, and so make it personal. I think really, really, it doesn't have to be a buddy check every day, but it's just wow, you thought about me. Cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I've seen when people do buddy checks, is when it's genuine, it really matters.
Yeah.
Not a check the block, right? I don't think anyone wants to be a check the block person. We all want to feel like we actually matter to somebody. Yeah. And life goes on. I don't expect people, again, people are not going to think of me every second of their life, every day. Oh, every Veterans Day, let me check on Ray. No, it's when it means it, it means it. And we're okay with that. I think veterans, some people feel like I got to check on a veteran every day. No, just make it genuine. Yeah.
I like the idea of it pops into your head. I feel like Hope for the Warriors is really good at that. For some reason, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I swear there's this weird psychic ability, because the amount of times that I've heard our military relations director, Lee Bonner, I hear this all the time from veterans, that he texted me or called me when I was at my lowest point. It's he just has a sixth sense.
He just knows.
He just knows. And I feel like that goes for a lot of veterans.
Yeah.
It's kind of you just have a feeling, I haven't heard from this person in a week
Yeah.
or two. Maybe I hear from them every couple of days. What's wrong? They just know.
And I mean, I will tell you, I'm a man of faith, and I believe that God does things for a reason. I really do. And God knows Ray needs somebody right now. And my friend was, hey, I mean, like, and then you can tell when a veteran wants to talk. Hey, bro, and then they're just nonstop. And I can tell when one of my buddies wants to talk. So I call them.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? When they continue to respond, that's a cry for help, right? For lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And so that's why I think when people reach out to you and it's genuine, it's usually at the time when you need it, as opposed to, hey, how are you? Hey, I'm doing well, you? And like 4 hours go by, like, okay.
And then it's like a like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, sweet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been there. You know, before this, you brought up the Spartan costume, and I'm so glad that you did that. Because for those of you that don't know, Ray likes to run some races in full-on, this is Sparta gear.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite memories, I think, was in San Antonio.
Yes,
You had it
yes.
on. And you think you did the half in like crazy time. And it was just so funny to see you cross, and you know, they literally, the announcer's like, this is Sparta. Like,
I remember that.
Sword,
Yeah.
But like, what went into that idea? Like, where did this come from?
So my running coach did it for years, and he was getting a lot older, and I said, hey, you know, I'm going to keep your legacy going. So I really did it to honor my running coach, who's also a veteran, Paul Baltudis. But it's also more than that. It's to motivate people, because I've heard people say, man, if he can run in that costume, which is crazy uncomfortable, I can do it. And I think that's where I think people, you know, at the end of the finish line, or even at the beginning, or people are struggling at different miles in the race, right? And I think when you see somebody who is in costume, who's just loving it. Running is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be painful. It's supposed to be fun. Enjoy it, right? Enjoy what you're doing in life. And I think that's one of the things that I want to bring. I want to bring joy to people. I want people to smile. I want people to laugh at me. I want people to see and say, you know what? If he can run in a costume, I should be able to run this. So it's a multifaceted, if you will, kind of message to people. Is it's fun. The kids love it. All the kids on the sidelines run it. And it's just really to show people. I want to show kids, hey, have fun what you're doing. I want to show other veterans that, you know, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And I also want to show that, if you think it's hard, it is hard. But if I can do it, you can do it. I'm a human like you. I'm no different than you. So it's a multifaceted, message to people. Yeah.
So I've been wanting to do this for a while on the podcast, and I just haven't had the right moment.
Okay.
So this is our first ever lightning round.
Oh.
And I'm picturing like a graphic, like a woo, 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 woo. So I thought you would be a perfect person for this.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What's one song that gets you hyped before a race?
Oh, that's easy. That's Rocky Balboa. Dun,
Oh.
dun, dun, dun. That's my song. That's my song.
I'm from Philly.
Okay. Oh, good deal.
Those
Yeah.
Rocky stairs.
I'm telling you, Rocky is Rocky.
Okay.
I'm showing my age, but
That's a
Rocky
classic.
is Rocky. Yeah.
Oh, that's
How do you
awesome.
not get hyped
Yeah.
up when you hear that?
That does get
Look
me
at me now.
excited.
I'm hyped up now. I'll go do this race
You're
again.
ready to go run it again.
Yeah.
If you could do a Spartan race with anyone, living or gone, who would it be?
I lost my best friend in a motorcycle accident, and I would love to do a race with him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's nice that
I
you
think
were-
he gave me so much strength when he was alive. He showed me resilience without knowing it. He just gave me so much.
Aw.
Yeah. So I would love to and I know he sees me now, but I would love to cross the finish line with him and say, hey, look at us now. Yeah, look how much we struggled. Look at us now. Yeah.
You said you're very spiritual.
I am.
And I do
yeah.
feel like when you cross
Yeah.
the finish line, he's still with you.
Oh,
all the
100%.
way,
Yeah,
you know?
he is.
So,
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear about that. Though.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite post-race meal?
Oh, I live in Texas, and there's Mexican food everywhere. So it's always Mexican food. I'm talking like tacos, guacamole. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe not the healthiest, but it's just so good after so many miles of running or an
You
obstacle
deserve
course.
it.
Oh,
You
yeah,
earned
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, I love Mexican food. It's just, some salsa, a lot of salt, a lot of sodium.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, Mexican food that's my go-to. Yeah.
I love visiting San Antonio because everyone told me right away it's red or green.
Yes.
Or you can do Christmas or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And they were like, yeah, if you like spicy, yeah, so take it easy.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, so I
Yeah.
can attest it's very good food. And I know I didn't run any of the races in San Antonio, but I do feel like I walked. A lot.
Yeah,
And
you
I was
did.
like, I
You're
felt like I
you're
deserved,
trying
like,
to
a
get from
couple
here to
tacos.
there. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's such a fun.
Yeah,
game,
that's
so.
my go-to food.
Do you have a motto or quote that you live by?
Don't accept it, challenge it. I think too many of us accept the status quo. Too many of us accept that's just how it is, and it's like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. Right? Well, I can't. Yeah, you can. Don't accept it, challenge it. Yeah. So.
One last question.
Okay.
For anyone listening who feels like hope is just out of reach, what would you say to them right now?
You know, when I got out of the military, I spent years, when I came back from Afghanistan, I spent years not wanting to reach out to organizations because I felt there was always someone more deserving. And I think it's a common thing with a lot of veterans is we feel that someone is more deserving. And I think Hope for the Warriors wants us to realize that everyone is deserving. Everyone who's worn the flag, everyone who's served this country is deserving of us and our sponsors and our donors and our events. Right? So to every veteran out there, I encourage you, reach out to Hope for the Warriors. If you've served this country, you've served this country, period. That's it, right? And I just challenge people to say, I don't think I need it, you do. We all need it. And I think it's just, that step number one is that admit it to yourself, I do need it. I want people who hear this podcast to know is we're all struggling, but you're never meant to go through this life alone, so stop. Hope for the Warriors is here for you. Other veterans are here, your family is there for you. There's just no reason to try to go at it alone. And that's what I've learned is when I try to go at it alone, I usually fail. Yeah.
I think that's a great message to end this episode of the Hope for the Warriors podcast, because you're not alone. You have Hope for the Warriors.
Yeah.
We have your back, Ray. Thanks so much for being on today.
Absolutely.
And competing in this race, coming up from Texas to do this.
It was great.
It's always great to see you.
Yeah,
Such a
appreciate
bright light,
that.
So I appreciate that. And, you know, if you need more information on Hope for the Warriors, check out our website, hopeforthewarriors.org. Until next time, keep in mind a little kindness goes a long way. Hope it's what our military community needs today.